Hello, my name is Darlene. Welcome to Stand Strong, a fun, educational, inspirational, and motivational show about people overcoming life's obstacles, and these are their stories. Hello, welcome to Stand Strong. I'm your host, Darlene Luff, and I'm really looking forward to sharing today's show. Today's show is going to be about disability. We're going to be touching base. As you all know, there's many forms of disability, but today we're going to be touching base on AMC. And at this time, I'd like to bring attention to the slippers that I am wearing in honor of our guest today. This is the symbol of AMC. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our guest, Miss Darlene Stockpole. Hi, Darlene. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your amazing story. Could you please tell our viewers a little bit about yourself and what exactly AMC is?
Okay, well, AMC is abbreviation for Arthrogryposis Multiplex Congenita. And it is a disability that I was born with.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Now, you were born with it.
Mm-hmm.
Did your parents know at the time that you had a problem?
No, absolutely not. Now, we're talking 50 years ago. And
you're 50?
I am.
Oh, you look fabulous. Wow.
Thank you.
I'm going to cheer to you. You're beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow, so they had no idea?
No, my mother was very young when she was pregnant with me. She got married at 15 and had me at 17. And they didn't have the technology back then like they do now. Mm-hmm. So the only time she really knew was when I was born. She did get sick around the 6th month of pregnancy with a terrible virus that hospitalized her, and she wasn't able to keep anything down. So at that time, they suspect that it was because of the amniotic fluid that I didn't have enough movement to develop properly.
Oh, wow, really? Is your type of disability rare?
It's very rare. It's 1 in every 3,000 births.
Oh my goodness, wow. You look phenomenal.
Thank you.
How was it for your parents dealing with a child that had such a disability?
Well, I think it was extremely difficult, especially for my mother. She was so young. And to have a baby with a disability, I don't think she was ever prepared for something like that. It took a lot out of her, I'm sure. Wow. Physical demands on her just to take care of me. She used to carry me up the stairs until I was about 8 years old.
Wow.
Just to go in and out of the house every day.
Now, you did bring some photos.
Mm-hmm.
If you would, could you pull up photo number 1? When photo number 1 comes up, could you tell us a little bit about what, there it is.
Mm-hmm. I think I was about 3 or 4 months old there.
Oh, look at how cute you were.
And as you can tell, my arms and legs are both casted.
Wow. Now, how old were you when they casted you? I know you were a few months old here, but did they do it right away?
Oh, yes. Yes.
From when you were a baby?
Well, at first they didn't know what it was that I had. Mm-hmm. And I was lucky enough to get involved with a pediatrician that had studied it, was familiar with it. And as soon as he saw me as a really young infant, he knew exactly what it was. And my treatment began with him as well as Mass General Children's Hospital.
Wow. And
they casted me because what AMC is contractures in the wrists and other body parts, like my ankles, and every bone, every joint and muscle in my body is affected.
Is it painful?
No.
No?
No.
So it's not like someone that would have arthritis or something. It's not?
No, it doesn't get any worse, and it doesn't improve. It has improved quite drastically since I was a baby because of the casting and because I went through many, many hours of physical therapy. Wow. As I've gotten older as a child. And right around 16, they stopped doing anything like that for me because nothing was going to get any better at that point.
Really? How was it for you growing up as an adolescent, having to deal with it?
Oh, it was very, very difficult. I mean, kids are mean.
Yeah.
So I had gone through most of my childhood, you know, being teased and made fun of. And it was difficult. And it wasn't just the kids, it was some adults as well.
How did you handle it?
Not very well at first, you know, but then so many years go by and you kind of just get used to it. You know, I didn't have that many friends, but the friends that I did have understood, and they were my support system. My family has been wonderful to me all through the years.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Cheers. I'm going to do cheers to your family. That's wonderful because, you know, it's hard enough growing up, but growing up and going through school with a disability is, I couldn't imagine. You definitely have to endure a lot, and I would think stay really strong.
Yeah.
Now, was it different for you? Is it different for you as an adult now than it was a child? You know, what I mean by that are how do you handle people who are ignorant to it?
Well, to be honest with you, I don't come across that anymore as an adult. Things are so different now. People with disabilities, whether they are physically challenged or mentally challenged, are more accepted today than they were 50 years ago. You know, when I first started school, I was in a special class mixed in with all types of disabilities.
Really?
And, but that only lasted till first grade, and then I was transferred into a regular classroom. But they're doing that now all over the place. I mean, any child with a disability gets put right in a special class, a regular classroom now.
I think that's wonderful because it makes them feel like they're everyone, like they're just like everybody else. So it kind of takes off that feel of being different. I think that's fabulous. That's amazing. Do you have any brothers and sisters? And if so, how did they handle your growing up with your disability?
I do. I have a younger sister and a younger brother. Just like any other kid, you know, they never treated me differently. We fought all the time, me and my sister. I chase her around the house with a brush. But I mean, it was no different.
No.
I never got treated any differently because my parents, my mom especially, made a huge effort to make me realize that I was no different than anyone else. She involved me in things. I was a cheerleader in Pop Warner years ago.
Where did you go to school?
Beverly High School.
You went to Beverly High?
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yeah,
Wow.
you know, they tried to get me to ski and to skate and to ride a bike. Those things I will never be able to do because, again, AMC affects my joints and muscles, and I don't have the range of motion I would need in order to do those kinds of activities. But for the most part, they got me out there and did what I could do.
Was there anything special, because you couldn't do a lot of other things that other children could do? Was there any one specific thing or hobby that you enjoyed doing?
Singing.
Singing? You're a singer. I'm a singer too. Oh, that's fabulous.
I remember I had a 6th grade teacher. She was incredible, and she had a big part in me coming out of my shell and building confidence. And she just got me out on stage at the talent show and just got me to sing. And I did it again in high school.
Wow.
And but now I could sing in front of anyone.
That's wonderful.
You know,
now, when you were in school, did you do musicals or did you just...
I was in the chorus for a little while, but not really. Like I said, you know, in my childhood and adolescence, it was difficult for me. Even as I got older in high school, there was still some kids that were so mean and cruel. So I kind of stayed to myself, quiet. The only time I ever had attention brought to me was when I would fall, because I would fall every day.
Now, you say you fell. Was it because you lost your balance because of your ankles?
No, because I would trip because I would always be in a rush. And my mother used to tell me to always look down because I would trip over everything. So that was kind of tough. But as I got older, I'm so much more careful now than I used to be. I still fall,
Yeah.
but not like it was before.
Oh, that's so good. So you said you love music.
Mm-hmm.
Did that get you through at a young age? How old were you when you started singing?
11.
11?
Well, even before then, but not to the public.
Are you shy? You don't seem to be.
I'm not anymore.
No.
But I was very, very self-conscious back then. But now I'm 50 years old. So I'm at this stage of my life where I really don't care what people think of me.
That a girl.
You know?
Well, first of all, you're very beautiful.
Thank you.
And again, I can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing your story. You are definitely one that gives true meaning to Stand Strong and inspiration and the power of positive thinking no matter what life throws at you.
Mm-hmm.
You are living proof. And it's a beautiful thing to see, and I'm very grateful that you decided to come on and share your story.
Thank you.
I'm very excited that you sing, because I love to sing too. That's something we have in common. Now, as you got older, do you have children?
I do. I have one son.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. How old is he?
He's 19.
19. Now, when you gave birth, is what you have, is it hereditary, or is it, did they have to watch your son to make sure that he doesn't have it?
Well, I've heard different things. For the most part, I've heard it is not a hereditary disability. Mm-hmm. But there, I guess, are some cases, because there are different cases of what I have, different degrees of it. But in some cases, it can be hereditary. But just to be on the safe side, all through my pregnancy, I went through many ultrasounds, the level 2 ultrasounds to check his growth, his skeletal system, his muscle system, all kinds of things like that.
And was that painful to you?
No.
No.
No, just it was frequent. It had to be done. I met with a genetic counselor who assured me that everything was going to be fine, and he's perfect.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, I understand that you recently got married.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Does your disability, is your son and your husband, how are they supportive to you?
Well, I'll start with my son. Ever since he was a child, a very little child, I made a conscious effort to be part of his life growing up in school, because I didn't want him to get teased or made fun of because his mother was different. So from the first day he started elementary school, I started to volunteer in his classrooms. And I did that all the way through to, I think, 5th or 6th grade, 5th grade.
Wow.
And, the kids got to know me as Christopher's mom. And as far as I know, they've never treated my son any differently or teased him or made fun of him. And as a result, my son has grown up to be a very caring, sympathetic person, accepting of anyone with any kind of disability they might have.
That's wonderful. I'm going to do a cheers to you. Bravo, not only as a mom, but as someone who raised a young man to look at people to be all the same and not judge them.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers to you, my friend. That's
Thanks.
Amazing. Now, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are you able to drive?
Yes.
Do you have a special equipment in your car, or you could just?
Not at all.
Is it difficult for you? I
No.
mean, no. You just.
I've been
That's
driving.
wonderful.
I've been driving since I was 19. I waited because I was just nervous.
Yeah.
In general.
And it doesn't affect, your steering or anything like that. So you just really,
No.
Wow, bravo, congratulations to you. That's awesome. I think that's amazing. Now, I'm sure, maybe not now, because you had said earlier that people are different to you as an adult now. But as you were coming up, adolescence and things of that nature, did it affect your social life? And how did you handle that?
Well, it definitely affected my social life. By the time I was out of high school, I was out with, I had a lot more girlfriends that I would go out with and do things with, but it wasn't until my early 20s that I actually started dating. There were a few young men between, 17 and 20 that wanted to go out with me, but then a lot of those guys just got, kind of teased and ridiculed by some of their friends. What are you doing with her? Things like that, because they just never understood. But it wasn't until I was out with my girlfriends at an older age that people saw me differently. And then I started, dating, and I got married when I was, I think it was the first time I was 29.
Wow.
Met someone at 25, and then I, again, just got remarried.
That's congratulations. So you're still a newlywed.
I am.
I understand. Congratulations. That's amazing. I admire you for, just sitting here, it's like, did you ever go through stages in your life where, I don't think so, but I'm going to ask this question anyways, because you look like such a very positive, confident woman. Was there ever a point in time when you were going through this? It's a lifetime thing for you, so it's kind of hard for me to say going through this, but dealing with this as you went along, that you said, why me?
Yeah, oh yeah, of course. Absolutely. In my early 20s, I think, or late teens, I felt bad for myself. I didn't know why it had to be me to have these struggles, and I couldn't do a lot of different things that the other kids were doing. So yeah, I felt bad for myself a lot, and it brought me down.
How did you overcome that?
I think I really overcame it when I met my first husband and had my son, because I never in a million years ever imagined someone would want to marry me or I would ever have a child. Most people at that young age wanted to go to college and to be something. All I wanted was to be married and have a child. And I didn't really picture that for myself. But when I became a mother, that is when I knew I could do anything.
Bravo. That's the truth. And as I said earlier, you brought some photos. If you could pull up photo number 2. When photo number 2 comes up, could you tell our viewers about the photo? There it is. Oh, how old were you here?
I want to say I was about a year old there.
Now, did you still have casts? Oh, no, they're, I don't see that they're on.
I don't have them in that picture, but I did have casts all the way up until I was around 8 or so.
Really?
Yeah. I would have to, they would make them for me, because the goal for me at that time, for the doctors and my parents, was to strengthen me and, as much as they could, lessen the contractures in my feet and my hands, and give me more mobility. It just wasn't meant to be, because it didn't work. But I went through years and years of physical therapy.
Wow.
And castings and things like that.
That's amazing. If you would pull up photo number 3, you brought a few photos. I'd like to share as many as we can with our audience, and when it comes up, tell our viewers, there it is. Now, how old were you in this photo?
I want to say I was 6 years old.
Wow. Now, I see that you have braces on.
Yes.
Did you have to wear those braces all day?
All day, and they were heavy. I started wearing braces when I could walk. I didn't learn how to walk until I was 4.
Really?
I was talking at an incredibly young age, but not able to walk until I was 4 years old with the assistance of my braces. I never used crutches, but the braces helped me.
Were you ever in a wheelchair?
No.
Wow, that's amazing.
No.
I'm really impressed. I mean, have you ever found yourself in a moment, I know as a child, handling any disability as a child, even non-disabilities, being a child and growing up is difficult, with bullying and things like that. And eventually you come to a point where you can handle it yourself. As an adult, have you ever, children don't know. And I want to say children are naive. And when parents don't explain things to children, they don't know. And sometimes children can innocently say or behave or ask questions in ways that might sound ignorant. Have you ever come across a child or even an adult that would stare ignorantly or ask you an ignorant question or an unknown question? I don't like to say ignorant, unknown. And if so, how did you handle that? How do you handle it?
I do all the time, still. I believe that if a child is asking me what my problem is, to explain it to them, depending on their age level, as best I can. I've had incidences where kids will stare and they'll ask a question and their parents will grab them and say, no, you don't ask people questions like that. But then I have to address the parent, because if you don't ask a question to somebody, then they're never going to know.
Exactly.
And I always do run across that with people. And
It's
to let them know
amazing.
that it's okay to ask me the question. I welcome questions like that.
That's amazing, and I'm sure that helps you as a person, excuse me, and as someone who has to deal with it on a daily basis, be a little bit stronger each day.
Yeah.
When you know that you're teaching someone something, be it a child or an adult, something that is unknown,
Right.
and that you make a difference in that way. Do you face? Are there any challenges that you face on a daily basis?
Every day.
And what type of things do you find challenging?
Well, I'm not tall. I'm only 4'9".
Me neither.
So it's not. It doesn't even come to the disability is the reason for my challenges at that point. It's because I can't reach anything. But my husband has recently, done things to help me reach things in my kitchen better, or it's just a matter of finding different ways to do things, which I've had to do all my life, really. But that is the biggest challenge, I have to say, and I could be perfectly physically fine at 4'9" and still have that same challenge.
Well, I have to tell you, I don't have a disability, but I'm very short. I can't reach anything. I could be in a grocery store or some store and I want something on the top shelf and I have to look around to see, is there a broomstick? Is there a paper towel thing I can throw up and jump up, because I can't reach it either. So bravo to you.
Grocery shopping definitely is a tough thing.
Me
Yes.
too. Yeah, me too. If there's nobody around and I can't reach it, then I
don't
ain't
get
buying it. Yeah, exactly. Are there any other type of things that you find that you have to do a little differently than most people, like maybe wash your hair or things like that? How have you come to adjust to your life and your living? I know you've been doing it for your whole life, but does it get easier for you? Do you find little tricks here and there?
It's funny because I always have a way of doing things. The way I get dressed, the way I put my jacket on, the way I comb my hair. And when people are around, when they don't know me and they see me, and they're the first people to want to help me, but it's, as a child more so, I was very stubborn. No, I'll do it. I'll do it. If it takes me an hour, I'll do it. Nowadays, if somebody wants to help me, I say, sure, you can help me, because I don't have to struggle as much. But everything was going okay as far as me doing things my own way until 2012, when I broke my left arm.
Oh, how did you do that?
I fell in my house, and I fractured it in 2 places. And I already have limited range of motion in both my arms to begin with, but now I have no range of motion whatsoever. I had to have surgery.
Oh, my goodness.
So I have 2 plates and 8 screws in my left elbow.
My goodness.
So it's frozen. I can't use it at all. So I had to relearn everything that I had to teach myself ever since I was young, to do things with just one arm or one hand. And I still have challenges with that every day.
Oh my God. Does it hurt?
No.
You can't feel them?
No. I just can't use it.
As I said, you brought some photos. Could you pull up photo number 3 and tell our viewers what's in photo number 3? There it is.
I am 6 months pregnant with my son there.
Oh, my goodness. And how old were you?
30.
Wow. That's amazing. And your pregnancy, was it a normal pregnancy?
Not at all.
Did you have C-section or natural birth?
I had a C-section, emergency C-section, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
He was a preemie, so he was born at 7 months.
Oh,
I was lucky. He was my miracle baby.
wow.
I had been pregnant several times prior, and I couldn't keep the pregnancy, but he was meant to be.
Absolutely. And I'm just going to have them continue to pull up photos. Could you pull up photo number 4, please? I love photos.
That's him.
And that's your little man. How old is he in this picture?
He's about 18 months.
Oh my goodness, he's adorable. He must have been. Do you find that he helped you fight even stronger?
Oh, yes.
And just continue?
Yes,
So
definitely.
he was your rock.
Well, yeah. I mean, he started off as a preemie and ended up very quickly gaining the weight. So he ended up being a very chubby little baby. And it was difficult for me to put him in the car seat, to carry him from one place to another. And I did it all on my own.
Wow.
Yeah, so it
is-
definitely helped me to build up strength.
That is amazing. Could you just continue to pull up the photos as they come up? Could you just tell our viewers a little bit about? Here we go. Now, could you tell? Is that your son?
That's my son, Chris.
Graduation
He graduated
day.
high school last year.
Wow, amazing. He's a tall boy.
Well, his dad was, but thank God he got the height.
Wow, that's amazing. And if you would just keep pulling up the pictures and tell our viewers.
That's me and my husband, James.
Amazing. Now, you're a newlywed. And when did you get married?
August 1st of last year.
So you're definitely still a newlywed. And how has he changed your life?
Oh, he's changed my life in every single way possible. I met him online, and neither one of us was looking for a relationship, so I was honest with him right up front. The minute we started talking, I told him about my disability, and usually when I would do that, they would run the other way. But not him. You know, I think he was curious, and when we first met, he was honest with me, and he said he was a little leery. He didn't really know what to expect until he saw me in person. But then he kind of just got to know me, and he always tries to help me, even though I don't need it.
That is amazing. You're very, very blessed. At this time, I'd like to give you a gift for being on our show. This is the Stand Strong logo T-shirt. And I'd like to give it to you and say thank you for
thank you
being a
very
guest
much.
on our show and sharing your story. We're getting ready to, we're running out of time, but it would be wonderful to have you back and continue to share your journey. Is there anything else you would like to share with our viewers at home? Any advice of someone that might be going through similar things and not know where to go or what to do or how to feel? Do you have any advice?
Well, yeah, a little bit of advice is that for mothers that are dealing with this now, they may have just found out that there's a problem with their child, or if they have children that are physically or mentally challenged, is to never give up on them. My mom never gave up on me.
And you're not alone.
No, no.
And I understand you brought a website. If you could pull up the website for information for that there's information for people who might need some advice or learn more about it. There it is. It's remarkable. Your story is amazing. I would love to have you come back.
Okay.
I definitely would love to have you come back because there's so much we didn't cover. Thank you again for coming and sharing your story. You did a fabulous job. And I'd like to thank you at home for joining us. As always, thank you so much for your continued support. We look forward to you joining us again next month. As always, remember to stand strong. Till next time.